Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. El Clasico took center stage in La Liga as Real Madrid prepared to host Barcelona. Aside from the obvious rivalry, this match had serious stakes in the race for La Liga. And in the end, the match finished 2-1 to Real Madrid thanks to goals by Benzema and Toni Kroos, with Mingueza getting the consolation for Barcelona, meaning that Real are now top of the table, although Atleti have a game in hand. The XG indicated that Real did create slightly better chances, 1.65 to 1.16. This is also backed up by the XG time map, with Real creating more big chances. But what tactics did both managers use? Let's take a look. Zidane lined up in a 4-3-3, whilst Koeman stuck to his now preferred back 3. To see more formations like this, match updates as they happen, player and team stats, and so much more, check out our video sponsor OneFootball. It is the best football app around, and the best part is you can get it absolutely free through the link in the description below, and it helps to support the channel. Now, let's look at what Barca did on the ball, as they had almost 70% of it. Barca were often able to come out of the first phase relatively unchallenged, as Real Madrid often used a mid-block, as due to their early lead, they had less need to press high up. And Ter Stegen only attempted 2 longer balls, with Real ending with a middling 12.96 passes per defensive action. So Barcelona could get into their attacking sequence fairly early, namely a 3-2-5 with both fullbacks pushing high and wide very early. Having them provide the width allowed Messi and Pedri to begin more central, the positions they are naturally comfortable in. And in comparison to their Champions League clash versus Liverpool, where they defended in a 4-4-2 with the midfielder pressing high, due to Barcelona's strength and numbers in the midfield, particularly with Messi dropping deep, Madrid needed all 3 midfielders to remain compact defensively. In addition, if Madrid stayed in this default shape, with Alba high early and Pedri in the half space, with Dembele also making runs in behind, it would have meant that Barca could more easily get behind the line. But in this astute defensive performance, Zidane adapted, with Valverde dropping to right wing back earlier to help mitigate this, meaning their defensive shape was more of a lopsided 5-4-1, although Vinicius could push higher to make it a 5-3-2. So, with this 3 vs 1 against Benzema, the wide centre-backs were crucial in carrying the ball up the pitch, and Barca chose to use Longley in particular. Time and again he advanced into this position, with the main aim being to displace the Real defense, as there would now be a 3 vs 2 here. And we see Longley's impact higher up in his touch map. If Valverde looked to press Longley, Vasquez would then have to make a decision on who to pick up, with either the wide option or the pass into Pedri being possible. But generally, Longley was rarely able to take advantage of any of these situations, often choosing the safer option instead, so Valverde could afford to stay deeper. But this is still where Barcelona's goal comes down, and we see a vital difference. This time it is Messi rather than Longley causing the 2 vs 1, so Valverde cannot afford to completely grant Messi this space initially. This split-second hesitation allows Alba to get down the outside, and in the second half Barca were overloading the box, so Alba's cross is met by Mingueza. But again, Zidane adapted, looking to mitigate Longley's positional overload. It would be Modric who could push out from midfield to try and halt his progress, whilst using his angles to prevent the ball inside, and this 3 vs 3 made it more difficult for Barca down the left. But we do see that generally, Barcelona's left-hand impact was greater, with Longley and Alba having the most touches. When attacking centrally and down the right, Barca's shape was interesting. Messi was a much bigger factor down the right, as shown in his heat map. And to get him more time on the ball, he tended to drop deeper into midfield, allowing De Jong higher into the half space ahead of him, hopefully tying up an additional man. But again, the back 5 paid dividends for Zidane, as it meant that a centre-back rather than a dropping midfielder could track De Jong. And the switch out to Alba, which is normally so effective, was now less so, as Valverde would be covering him early. In addition, having a fullback in Alba as the wide man means that the 1 versus 1 is much less dangerous for Real, as he is less likely to beat his man. And this is where Real Madrid often came to life. Barca's attacking shape with both fullbacks high and De Jong also pushing high meant that there was often space between the lines that Benzema could exploit. He tended to drop deep, looking to draw a defender, and Vinicius and Valverde were willing runners in these 3 versus 3 situations, and the ball could then be played in behind, particularly to Vinicius, whose blistering pace gave Mingueza and Araujo problems. Time and again Real would get into these great areas, but just couldn't make it count. But what did Real look to do with their 30% possession? When they tried to play out short, Barcelona were willing to press high, ending with a passes per defensive action of just 7.7. This often involved Messi and Dembele picking up the centre-backs and Pedri deeper on Casemiro. The wing-backs would also press high, and the wide centre-backs would be willing to cover across. With limited options, Courtois would often be forced to go long, which wasn't the worst idea, as Benzema is decent in the air, and Courtois' preference to go long when comparing his long passes to Ter Stegen. But Real's opener comes one of the rare times that this pressing shape broke down. Valverde received the ball at right back, having momentarily rotated with Vázquez, and rather than having Alba press immediately with the back 3 covering as before, Alba stays deep initially, which leads to several problems. First of all, not being high up means there is no pressure on the ball carrier, meaning that Pedri, Messi and Dembele, who are pressing narrow, are now redundant and taken out of the game as they're the wrong side of the ball. Now, with no cover, Alba is 2 versus 1. He makes a poor decision looking to press Valverde, unsuccessfully so, which leaves Vázquez in acres of space. He then puts in a brilliant cross that is only bettered by the finish from Benzema. Overall, this was a confident performance from Real, something that they'll be hoping to repeat in their return leg against Liverpool midweek. The bright side for Barcelona is they are still well in the title race, as well as having a cup final coming up soon, and they gave a good account of themselves in this match. But what did you make of Zidane and Koeman's tactics? What could each have done better? Drop it down below. A quick shout out to my Patreons for helping to make this video possible. If you want to support, head on over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple and you'll get rewards like early access to videos and exclusive content. And a special thanks to all my Patreons for all the support, including Nils Lengen, Ufulu Majawa and Alec Dainty. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.